where do we go from here?
Attentions will turn now to FaZe versus Fnatic, two teams on two very different trajectories. But here is the series layout: CTF on Bazaar, Slayer Aquarius, Oddball Streets, and if we do need them, Strongholds Recharge, Slayer Streets. So Dave, talk to me about these two teams. What do you expect to see?
Well, I see these two rosters having 8 very talented individuals. So yes, obviously to get this high level, you need to work with your team and such, but overall, I feel like both these teams have had some missteps when it comes to coordinating. You know, they have their superstar moments where they go off, but what's going to really tell it to me right off the start of this is CTF Bazaar is likely the most coordinated map you need to be with on the same page as your teammates in order to get any sort of flag capture here. So it's going to be very telling how the rest of the series goes. If one team's able to, let's say, put on 3 caps on the board while doing a decent amount of defense, I feel like that's going to bode well for this series, because I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's like either a team is on the same page and coordinating, or they're just winning their fights and rolling through the other squad.
Now what we have here is FaZe. They took down Navi 3-0 in our first game of the day, and now they have their attentions turned to Fnatic, and of course Fnatic losing 3-0 to Optic, so they maybe it would have been expected to lose to Optic, that's fair enough, but FaZe are looking to apply pressure to maybe Optic Gaming and top the group. It starts here. There's a potential banana skin here with Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, likely the result of this match, whoever wins, is likely second in pool.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, the reality of the situation. Or, I mean, I should say top 2 in pool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to be a huge, huge match if Fnatic can pull this one out and pull up this upset and, you know, squeak into potentially that second place in pool just under Optic. At the same time, too, this could also be FaZe really setting the tone for the rest of this tournament. If they take down Fnatic in a dominating fashion, they might prime themselves up for that match later tonight to take on Optic Gaming.
Fnatic absolutely love a Game 5. FaZe Clan, though, it's been a bit of their Achilles heel. They'll be looking to get the job done long before they ever need to get there. But players that we could possibly highlight could be Snip3down and the boys, but I tell you something, shields up, weapons up. We're right into things for the eyes and ears of Juziro.
Yeah, it's Juziro making his name through free-for-all. A very, very individually talented player. Despite a questionable challenge there, he has a sick shot, and so he also has the teammates to back him up.
Envore, a player during Anaheim who really popped off at times and dragged his team forward when they really needed him most. He's looking to do that just here, right now, and taking down Falcated and indeed Snip3down coming off the respawn screen. So neither team really able to gain any real map control, but that's going to be good for Fnatic to keep it scrappy.
Yeah, in this case like this, you're almost okay with just trading kills off the bat, especially if you aren't in a position where you're the one that's grabbing those rockets and overshield. But as we say that, SuperCC evades is pushing that flag across the map, and this puts Snip3down in a difficult position. Does he hunt around the bottom of his base, try to get that kill, but looks like Falcated's going to secure that kill. Snip3down's going to return the flag, and we're back to even Steven.
Snip3down puts a couple of shots down to that player over towards lockers, but Juziro somehow, some way manages to get that kill onto Bound, and Snip3down just playing that anchor position as we see time and time again, and sometimes it can be a hindrance to the FaZe team. It
can be. I mean, this is a game of flying. In many cases, you need to be close enough to the action to obviously lay down shots, have line of sight, but then also zero hesitation to get right up in the opposing team's face, especially in a map like Bazaar where you can't just sit back and anchor the whole time.
Bubu that cleans house, turns his attentions then towards mid-map. Picks up a couple of sizzle sticks along the way. Maybe starting to see FaZe trying to take control, but just like that, Fnatic shut them down.
Shut down, but still just pretty much even trades across the board. We're going to have to see how they decide to play this out at the 10-minute mark, see if this upcoming power-up is going to play any effect, and if anyone's going to try and make any sort of moves before that. It looks like Snip3down opts to grab this flag a little before. You have to wonder, this is either maximizing and optimizing that overshield that Falcated was grabbing, or it was a bit of a folly and a bit of disorganized play, as we were talking about before, Jersey.
Snip3down, it looks as though he tried to get the little slide off the ramp and somehow just missed it and hit the top of the stairs, and that meant the flag got stopped in its tracks. But Falcated trying to keep this one alive, locks in a killing spree for his team, but it is going to be stopped there on the bar bridge.
Yeah, and that really, despite them getting the flag all the way, wait, what the? I was going to say, despite getting that flag to tree, I was like, not the greatest attempt ever, and there's bubu, you know, grappling all the way over, bringing it all the way towards the tree, and somehow this flag that we thought was a goner, all of a sudden is a strong possibility. I don't know if anyone from Fnatic is in position to stop this.
And just like that, Fnatic go 1-0 up in the series, and Rocket's about to pop. They still have somewhat of a map control.
Yeah, they're not in bad position at all. I mean, you look at Bound just able to run across the top of the market. I would say that's a pretty strong indicator if you have center control, Jersey, if you just run on top of the market.
Bound towards the opposition bar. Falcated gets into a fight. Could have looked to maybe bait and switch, but opted to try and take that fight on there and now. And then we see Bound get taken down also. 4 dead momentarily here. This is a chance for Fnatic to tie up things.
Sceptify grabbing those rocks. Get trade, not even trade. Bubu somehow goes a 1-for-0 against the rocket carrier there just a moment ago against Sceptify. And that's going to be difficult. You want to, after one of those disappointing finishes where the opposing team gets the flag cap, you want to be able to scrap something back. You want to be able to grab those rockets, start to get some semblance of control. But right there, it just gets stopped, and you cannot trade 1-for-1. If you're on the opposing team's half of the map, or especially if you have the power weapons, like Sceptify having those rockets, you need to be going 1-for-0. You need to be staying alive.
Overshield in 5 seconds then. Which one of these teams is going to be able to get their hands on it? We're seeing bubu dubu playing a little bit of defense for his teammate who has that grapple. And Overshield has gone the way of FaZe Clan, but what can they do with it as they descend upon the enemy base? One player positioned over towards lockers. Bubu dubu picks up 2 and somehow manages to stay alive.
This is looking scary here for Fnatic. As you have 2 members die like that, you have Overshield still on Bound with this flag carrier. It's not just going to be able to grenade one-shot this Bound flag carrier. So this is going to be a difficult spot, and Fnatic not only are not stopping the flag, they're dying along the way. Envore and Sceptify both get taken down. They're committing a little too much to try to desperately stop this flag cap, and it could backfire.
What way is it going to pan out? They have 2 members positioned over towards bar, but make that one as SuperCC gets cut down. Bound keeps this flag alive, but Falcated will get a trade there to help out their cause. 2 members down here for Fnatic. Can they get the stop? Envore doing his best as he possibly can here. Does manage to pick up a kill, but Falcated picks up 2.
And there's the flank once again, and so all that effort there from the Fnatic side, and they just give up so many more deaths. So even though they lose a flag cap there, they also lose control of the center of the map. You have someone like Juziro who's just forced to hide in the vents until other teammates can be out in the center and helping.
Fastly approaching now this 6-minute mark, Dave, where Overshield and indeed the Rockets are about to pop up at the same time. And with the way this game is shaking out, who be going to be betting against FaZe picking these up too?
That's right, yeah, this 30-second mark, you got FaZe continually controlling the center of the map. You have these Fnatic members clearly running around the bottom or even just hiding on the sides like those vents. It just feels like there's kind of like an everyone for themselves mentality here from this Fnatic side as they're desperately pushing off individually. And one thing I said as we went into this match, Jersey, is a team going to be able to capture 3 or so flags here on Bazaar? And if so, I felt like that's a strong indicator of them being on the exact same page. So it's looking really good here if you're a FaZe fan.
Fnatic just been so disjointed. This is going to be an opportunity here. Overshield will get popped into the chest of Sceptify, but what can he do with it to really push the pace against FaZe, who have already managed to pick up 2 flag captures already, putting down some damage all the while, and they have managed to scramble that flag through the double doors, but Juziro goes down.
Juziro goes down, but still looking pretty good here for Fnatic in this flag cap. I remember seeing that moving across earlier and thinking that was bad news for Fnatic, but just like that, they make the gap 1 flag fewer. So it's just now a 1-cap game, and this is totally feasible, especially when you still got a rocket in your back pocket like SuperCC.
A slow start for Fnatic, but now showing signs of life as they cut that deficit in half. With 5 minutes and some change left to play, and that rocket goes down, but Snip3down's Bulldog will shut him down. Rockets do nothing in the end.
That is 2 separate occasions we see members of Fnatic, both Sceptify and SuperCC, not able to convert with the rockets. Not a big fault of their own, but ultimately it's either, it can be argued whether it's execution, whether it's positioning, something's not going right there, because those should be the free and easy kills. Those are the ones that you should be like, all right, I did all the hard work, I secured this weapon, I now should reap the benefits of this.
One player that we highlighted before they played against Navi was bubu dubu. He's been having such a strong influence on this game already, helped them secure that 2nd flag cap. Snip3down with that Bulldog, but talk to me about bubu dubu and the qualities he brings to this team.
Oh, bubu, he is just a monster. He's been a monster, obviously, in Halo 5 and beyond. But I would say the biggest part for bubu is his consistency when it comes to shots. He's one of those players that does not, you know, in Halo 5 to be successful, you had to be very aggressive. You had to have that ability to charge across the map, which still is persistent here in Infinite, but bubu just like that mid-range style shot where it's like hits all the shots, flies in, and it's just like that 1-2 combo that you're looking for in a player.
An overshield. You hear the ding around the arena. Just popped out of the oven. It's fresh and ready to be picked up by one of the team. It's going to be Snip3down who does secure it for his team here. Looking to play a little bit more passive though, not immediately trying to push the pace, but Fnatic have dropped back and tail between their legs.
It's funny you bring up how the overshield's like dinging, coming out, hot and ready, and players are eating it right away.
Yeah.
One thing that I went into theory crafting before Halo Infinite came out, I was like, I expect these teams like grab this overshield, maybe hold on to it for a minute and then pop it later or something like that, but it just seems to be one of those things, you know, a better safe than sorry scenario where these teams and players say, yep, I'm going to use this. They already know it's coming, but it doesn't matter. I have this extra shield so I can help do some more damage on the map.
Speaking of damage, Bound doing just that, hitting the freshest 4 shots of possibly his career, but Juziro shuts him down in the end, so not able to get anything cooking there in terms of a flag grab. But we're going to see rockets pop up here, and Fnatic need to get their hands on them.
And this is the last set of rockets unless we go into overtime, so FaZe are in an amazing position here with Snip3down being all the way over on the Fnatic side of the rocket ledge. So I like what Snip3down does there. Even though it might seem like Snip3down's primed up those rockets, he has the further angle across the map, so he's just going to continue to hold those sight lines and let one of his teammates grab the rockets.
Snip3down had faith in his teammates to pick up those rockets, and you can see why they have managed to secure them. That player behind enemy lines, but what can he do with them? Envore desperately trying to stay alive, unable to do so as Falcated takes him down, but Juziro and Sceptify indeed relieve a little bit of that pressure.
We saw the last rockets going up. Here comes the last overshield unless we go into overtime. So these next 20 seconds will be crucial. And then it's a difficult position right now for Fnatic though. They still have to clear all these players on their base. They're Snip3down once again. They're Falcated. There's 2 members of FaZe still over in the Fnatic base that they had to clear before they even went to the center of the map.
If you're a Fnatic fan, it has to be said that you're playing the wrong end of the field when it comes to the time constraints that are now against you, and you're stuck playing defense rather than offense. That's going to be frustrating with this overshield about to pop. And indeed, it has popped, and FaZe have got their hands on it once more.
Yeah, it's just been a continued story throughout this whole game, Shurzy, whether it's ineffective use of the rockets from the Fnatic side or an effective grab or use of the rockets or overshield from the FaZe side. At this level of play, you can't afford mistakes like that, and just looking at the kill screen right there, we just have such a differential in kills. I mean, Falcated going +10, bubu dubu going +7. Those 2 members alone just racking up such a massive lead here for the FaZe side.
Snip3down in the opposing bar, not looking to pour points in there though. Not looking to get charged rent either, as he does drop down towards the sewers, takes out Master Splinter. Envore hits the respawn screen, but the damage has been done with only 1 minute and 5 left. Fnatic have to get something done here and now.
And look at this, every single way the Fnatic members push out, they just walk into these traps. You have these members of FaZe just sitting around the corners. Fnatic aren't in a position that they can take their sweet old time, check every little corner, every little spot, and FaZe are just playing it perfectly at the end, letting them just run out one by one desperately as they try to get some sort of control on the map.
Fnatic, like rats to the cheese, playing out of desperation and falling into those traps time and time again. Bubu dubu, with the help of Falcated, a combination of both will take down SuperCC, and unfortunately that's going to be a flag grab up the wrong end of the field too, with only 30 seconds left, and bubu dubu last man alive. Fnatic have to go here.
Yeah, Fnatic has the kills they need. They got 3 of them, but it was all on their side of the map once again. And just like we talked about before, it's one of those scenarios where, yes, you kill them on your half, but guess what? They're going to spawn over at their base. You have to get 1 more round of slaying, and that's just before you grab the flag. And that's, I don't even want to say easy part. That's just step 1 or 2 of the 10-step process.
Not going to have enough time to even put step 1 into position. FaZe will take game 1. They're yet to drop a single map all tournament long after beating Navi 3-0. They take down Fnatic here as well. Let's do a quick autopsy. What did FaZe do right there?
Let's see. I liked how they were pushed over on the Fnatic side of the map. And by that specifically, not just saying that they're pushing to grab the flag. That's a pretty obvious highlight. It's more of being over towards the double doors, being over on their side of the market, being over on their side of the rocket ledge. It just forces anytime Fnatic wants to push out their base, they have 2 different sight lines. They, rather than just being able to focus over on the FaZe half and just look straight across the map, they now have to look to their left and see, all right, do I have to shoot this first over in rockets? Do I have to, look at my own back as I push through the market? It just puts them in a very uncomfortable spot And so just all those different angles and options that FaZe had, they were utilized so well.
You made the point even in the game as well, like you say, about Fnatic not having time to clear those corners because time was very much against them the more that game went on. What can they do here to bounce back in game 2? With the way the pace of that first game went, although they got a flag cap on the board, it was all FaZe, it was all one-way traffic, it felt.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a position like that, let's take a quick look at the stats before I highlight that. But yeah, just looking at, obviously, bubu and Falcated going the most positive as far as KDAs go there for the FaZe roster. Doing some quick math, that's 15 plus 12, 27, 37. Oh my God, 49 kills? Did I see 48 or 49 kills there? Positive for the FaZe roster. I mean, if you're outslaying by 48 or 49, I would expect to win by more than one flag cap.
Something we didn't think we'd be blessed with today was a mathematics class with Walshy, so I'm glad I was present for that. But a player that had a game to forget is Envore, typically known as Lanvor from the performances we've seen from him from Anaheim, but I had a game to forget there with 10 and 21.
Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the math, because anytime I put or on my math tests, I was like, it's either 48 or 49. I didn't get full credit, so I appreciate your generous grading scale. But one thing you brought up was asking, what does Fnatic need to do differently if they're getting in a position where they're fighting against FaZe, and FaZe are holding these little corners and little edges. In a situation like that, something like Aquarius as an example, you either need to, one, be able to shoot across the map and take out any of those players that are exposing themselves, because FaZe will have to have some sort of backup fire, some people that are out and exposed, and then you can roll into those rooms together and then just fly across. So it's basically like a numbers game. If you're trying to run out into the center of the map and FaZe has all these different angles, you're going to get picked apart from different angles. However, if they're hiding those angles, those people aren't going to expose themselves. So in a case like that, you should, in theory, have like a 4 versus 3 across the map, or a 4 versus 2. And so that's how you try to play it out if you consistently are seeing teams hide in corners and catch you off guard and use those obscure angles. Just essentially eliminate their angles and eliminate them from the fight for a temporary period of time.
It'd be very easy and very lazy for me to say, well, Bazaar CTF was so one-sided. They outslayed them by 48 kills. They were positive 48, so surely the Slayer Aquarius is going to be the same thing. But
it's going to be a 50-1 or a 50-2
yeah, that's the way it has to be. But the thing that was most impressive for FaZe isn't even the slays. It was their ability to control the power weapons and power-ups, and Fnatic have to get a handle on that.
Yep, they have to get a handle on, like we said, not just getting those, but using them effectively.
Yeah.
The scary part, though, yes, that seemed like a dominating FaZe victory. However, when I look at objective efficiency, I am not impressed by that at all. By a team getting 48 or more kills, 48 or 49 kills more than the other team, and somehow faltering like that hard. So I am a little worried here for FaZe, because you can't expect to outslay the opposing team 2-1 and just win by one flag gap.
FaZe still have it all to do then, still a lot of things to tighten up on the ship. Something we've seen in the Na'Vi series, and it's leaked forward now into the Fnatic. They're getting the kills, they're getting the slays, but they're just not being objective efficient. They don't have to worry about objectives now, though. Slayer Aquarius is going to be our game 2. Controlling the power weapons, controlling the power-ups, and killing at the right possible time. With Snip3down, who has been typically anchoring for this team, and this seems to be his playground.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to anchor on a map, I would say Aquarius is such a great one to anchor on.
Yep.
This one offers so many different sight lines that there's going to be so many different opportunities where, one, you're laying down shots across the map, or as soon as you see a couple people, whip over into the utility or towards the fridge side, and if you don't have an angle on them anymore, you at least know where half the team's at. You now can reposition so that you can be in effect in the next fight.
What can then Fnatic do to bounce back? Yet to win a map in pools. They've lost 4 straight maps. Cannot do wonders for their confidence, Dave.
No, can't help, but the only consolation here is you're fighting the 2 top teams right away. And I mean, that's just, the unlucky, draw right there from the Fnatic side. That's just how it worked out for their end. So, I mean, they got their tough matches out right now, but ultimately, if you're going to make out to top 2 in pools, regardless, you're going to have to win 3 of your 4 matches. Yeah,
the situation that we have in pools is there's very few actual easy games out there. There's going to be a Mammoth or a Titan in one of the groups, regardless of which one you jump into. But Fnatic have found themselves rather unlucky. But can they bounce back here, or will Falcated and co lock this game in and double their series lead?
I've never seen someone get rid of their BR as fast as Falcated on this. He's already got the commando/pistol combo, and look at that, pushing all the way to util, getting a double kill. And that's going to be 3 down there for Fnatic. That's also going to be the camo. What else hasn't this person picked up yet? Is he going to go grab the heat wave next?
Well, Falcated being a little bit greedy, not offering to share the sandbox with anybody else on the map, looking to pick up every single thing, and that just goes to show every weapon in the sandbox is a viable option for these teams. With Snip3down then over towards Car, waiting for those sizzle sticks to spawn back up, and this is something we've seen regularly, is they wait over towards Car and they timed it with the dynamo grenades at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's just the player's natural cadence of understanding, because, you know, Falcated grabbed those so fast off the start of this game, or whether they're working with Coach Towie. And, you know, in a situation like this, the coaches are obviously valuable as far as timing weapons, but not as, you know, we don't see teams timing something like grenades as we time like overshields or camos in the past.
They do take a lower priority, but when grenades such as the dynamos are so strong, particularly in gaining the advantage on this map, and information that comes along with it. Plasma rifle in the back pocket, not going to be able to get the job done though. Falcated shuts him down once more, and he's gone for that commando. It's a weapon of choice for him right now.
Yeah, you just see it consistently, and must just be a nice little laser shot there from Falcated's side, and obviously he's just doing so much work with it. I've always had a bit of difficulty with commando, especially on line and hitting those last headshots, but from what I've been seeing here on land, these players are just so dangerous with the weapon.
A 4-kill game that Bound looking to extend that one, able to do so as that player did scamper away. He's going to jump down, try get the trade, but unfortunately for him, Juziro managed to pick one up, and bubu dubu about to go to his death and ultimately still finds it 6 feet deep. He does go. It's a 2-kill game.
And here's Snip3down in that hidden position, and look at that. There, Snip3down actually gets sniffed out this time. That's you know, we kind of saw it in a little bit of reverse order from, you know, the opposite perspective, but you saw these members from Fnatic pick off a couple members of FaZe and then kind of fly out and pick out those players that are hiding behind. Because when those members of FaZe are hiding around corners like we saw in Bazaar, if you have a numbers advantage, it's okay if they get the first shot or two in the back. Doesn't matter where they're at. If you have numbers, if you have 2 people flying out in the open, you will win that fight.
Worst case scenario, you do trade. We're seeing FaZe Clan still hold a 1-kill advantage here, but it's not going to be for long. Just like that, Juziro, SuperCC, and indeed Sceptify all pick up one, with Bound the last man alive.
Yeah, this series is far from over, Shurzy. I mean, we're seeing, once we're in an actual Slayer game, these players know how to value their lives more. They're not getting caught off guard as much as we saw in Bazaar, as they had to make desperate pushes across the map. A lot of times those stats aren't as reflective as how close the game was, because these players know when they need to desperate across the map to try to get a flagpole or what other objective there is.
Juziro was doing a fantastic job of just putting down damage, and still continues to do so. And 9 kills he's registered already in this game before we've even hit the halfway point, and he makes sure we do hit that halfway point.
And that was also Falcated again with the commando. We've seen that in his hands 3 or 4 different times here. So Falcated, one, must be incredibly comfortable with it, but secondly, I wonder if a team deliberately leaves that weapon for him, giving players comfortability to get used to that on the map. And oh my god, we got a killing frenzy from Juziro. I didn't realize he was going off that hard.
And just as we say it, we almost have to apologize to you, Juziro. We didn't notice it. When we did, ultimately you got taken down. That's on us. We're sorry about that. But contrasting forms, Juziro picking up 12 kills, but on the opposite side of things, Snip3down, who we spoke about before the game, being a little bit of an anchor for his team on those lines of sight. He's not having the best of times over here.
Lines of sight and on the scoreboard. Sorry, Eric. We're still friends, right? But yeah, no, just a rough start there for Snip3down as this game has gotten started. But it's just one of those positions where, you know, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles as these games go, where, you know, players are in the right position as they're picking off those kills, and sometimes you want to be on the fortunate end of that cycle with your team.
A 6-kill game that, with FaZe desperately trying to scamper away with the camouflage. Bound has been successful, down to just a sliver of shields. A couple of shots go down to that player position front base, and ultimately he will lose his life. But SuperCC doing a fantastic job of trading out. Camouflage player needs to survive, but he doesn't, as Envore eliminates him.
Yeah, Bound gets taken down with that camo. Not as effective use as possible. However, I was going to highlight and say I don't disagree with his choice to shoot and fight. Halo Infinite is such a numbers game that you don't need to be super sneaky with the camo, get a back smack, get a double kill on your own. Instead, it's like, if you have somebody out in the open that you can double team with your teammate and take out a player from the opposing squad, take that fight.
Not long ago, it was a 2-kill advantage for FaZe. What a difference a few kills can make, just like that. 11 kill advantage here for Fnatic. They've turned their fortunes right the way around.
Yeah, and I don't really know how FaZe comes back from this. They don't really have as much on the map. You know, there's going to be a camo coming up shortly, but even so, a camo is not a 10-kill swing. A camo can get you a couple kills and maybe set you up to get a wipe or two, but it's not a 10-kill swing. You rarely see those sort of large swings unless a team is just clicking on all cylinders, rotating back and forth and getting spawn kills, but I really don't see how FaZe comes back from this based on how they've been playing this match thus far.
Fnatic can ill afford to throw away any more easy deaths. Snipe down, back down towards now bottom dynamo grenades, and heat wave that was just forfeited by Bound will land in the hands this time of Snipe down, but unfortunately they've only got 4 lives left to play with. Bubu Dubu has picked up that camouflage, so there's a sliver of hope.
Sliver of hope indeed, but they're going for these kills at pink. There's going to be 2, and you're in a spot where, yes, that's if the game started earlier and you're getting 2-for-1 trades or 3-for-1 trades, that's worthwhile, but even if they go for a 3-for-1 trade here, FaZe is going to lose this game. 2
kills then, all that's required for Fnatic to tie up this series and really make a game of it here. One of the best teams in the land, Fnatic here, and already had to play one of the title contenders in Optic Gaming. It's not been an easy road for them here. Juziro leading the way for his team. Snipe down picks up 1. But again, they can only lose 2, and they've already lost Bound. And Falcated is the final one. And the final nail in this Slayer coffin. 50-41 in favor of Fnatic. They get the job done.
They bounced that back so hard. I mean, it did really look like a one-sided affair from Bazaar CTF when we just looked at the scoreboard as far as kills and slays go. However, as we dissected that a little bit more, we talked about how that's not that big of an advantage when we talk about one flag game. It's not that big of a deal. So clearly Juziro and that Fnatic roster showed that they can bounce back from that. They did such a strong job of just really buckling down, getting up that 10-kill lead and just closing out with trades. They knew how to play that once they got that lead, just trade kill for kill and close that game out.
Really towards the midpoint of the game, it was so evenly matched. It was only a kill or 2.
Yeah,
trading back and forth, but all of a sudden, Fnatic found that extra gear that we didn't think they had.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was partially due to Juziro's killing frenzy. I mean, anytime you get a 10-0 run, kind of help. We're like both scratching our heads like, how'd they get a 10-kill lead? And it's just like, killing frenzy, 10 kills in a row without dying. We're like, man, I still just don't know how they got that 10-kill lead.
Still don't piece it together. Don't make it make sense. I don't know. Killing frenzy, what does it really mean in the grand scheme of things? It seems to help your team win a game of Slayer.
But yeah, that's clearly one of the driving factors for Fnatic getting that 10 to 12 kill lead in the middle of the game, but a lot of that also paid into them just going back and forth, getting those spawn slays, getting those trades back and forth. And looking at the story of this one, that's a Juziro story, a 17-6-4. And you know what I did? I'm just realizing I think I added kills. I looked at kills and assists last match. So I may have said that I outslayed by 48 or 49 and maybe did it wrong.
See, I put so much faith in you that I was still prepared to say, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I blindly believe in it.
That's what I think I did last time, but who knows?
I'm Irish. I barely speak English. I'm not trying to speak mathematics at the same time, but I'll tell you something. Something we do know is Juziro had a game to remember, and if we can have a few more of them, we might see Fnatic squeeze out this series.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly dead even as far as scoreline goes. I do fear a bit here for FaZe as they had such a, like I said, strong showing on Bazaar with my maybe now incorrect math. We might be going off of false information here, Shurzy. But yeah, I do really think that Fnatic are looking so strong in this, and this one's really a toss-up for me. I mean, I think if you asked me after the first cap in Bazaar, I'd be like, oh my God, FaZe is just running away with this. They were about to put in their 3rd flag cap. You know, about 5 or 6 minutes into the game, I was like, all right, they're coordinated, doing everything right. But after seeing the second half of Bazaar, after seeing Slayer and Aquarius, it's really starting to turn and look like a different story.
Is it a case of FaZe maybe running out of steam a little bit, or have Fnatic just started to grow in confidence? Hang on a second, we can hang with the big boys.
It's got to be that second one. I mean, I wouldn't consider FaZe running out of steam, you know, with their 2nd or 3rd pool play match of the tournament.
Yeah.
They're just getting started as we're looking here at HCS Kansas City.
Just getting started, but Oddball Streets is going to be game number 3. What way do you see it going, and what are the keys to success?
Ooh, this one's tough. I mean, obviously keys to success when you're able to get those setups,
Yeah.
holding those as long as you can, and then also not allowing the opposing team just to get that set for free. If you get that ball over to Subway and hold it for a while, or get over towards PD and hold it for a while, it could be all for naught if you just lose that setup and the other team just has that at their own disposal. So understanding how and when to drop that ball, seeing if you can get a play ball through the balcony or tossing off towards warning and just getting a few slays.
Have you got a player on either one of these two teams that you really want to highlight before we go into this, and maybe they're a player to watch whether they need to bounce back or keep going the way they are?
Ooh, I mean, I think what we highlighted earlier was Juziro with that Killing Frenzy, and then Snip3down with a poor showing, at least on game number 2. So let's highlight those two players going into this one.
Let's keep our eyes indeed on Snip3down and Juziro, and here's the man of the hour then, immediately using that movement to get himself all the way down to Neon and pick up a Bulldog for free.
That is so fast. You see this player here with Stalker Rifle, Snip3down, taking out this member here from FaZe, but this is tough for Juziro. The rest of his team is down. Now you have to wonder whether that was missteps there from other players from Fnatic, great execution from FaZe, but it's almost not too surprising that Juziro is able to run all the way across the map, meet nearly zero resistance, and then just surprise Snip3down. Because during that whole time, looks like Snip3down and the rest of FaZe Clan were killing all the players over on the B side, over at the streets.
If I see Juziro flying at me and I die, I say, lads, I found the Bulldog player. And that's the only call out I give. Snip3down getting back down by that red gun that hits so hard. Positioned over towards top tower, but they have that setup you spoke about, and it looks to be locked in hard.
Yep, 30 points here in the setup, and look at this. They drop and just go for some slays. They realize how important these full setups are here on Oddball. I'm trying to think, like, there are certain Oddball matches where, when I think in the past, especially something like Halo 2, like midship, where it's like you can get some of that scrappy time in the bottom center, and there's certain situations that do happen here on streets, like over near the ATM, where you can grab some time without having to risk gaining or losing a full setup. But once the ball's on the other ends of the map, once it's near Subway or once it's near PD, each life is so important that it's almost not worth it to scrap up a few seconds, because if you die and the team gets a full set, they're going to get way more than those few seconds.
We're seeing so many players, like you spoke about previous Halos, where they hold the ball and they'll hold it all the way up until they die. But as soon as in Halo Infinite, when they get a little bit of resistance, like you speak about, they drop that ball and try to help their team.
Exactly, yep. That's why they just prioritize those full setups so much more. So here we have Bound just holding this over in PD, and then Bubu's going to take a little peek over in the streets to see if they're safe. Spoiler, they're not safe.
Will not find safety there. Safety will not be given to anybody at Hogwarts or indeed on streets. Rockets go down though, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. So we see these players desperately trying to rotate the ball over towards top arcade.
And that seemed like a incorrect rotation there. I mean, it seems like Bound just got sniffed out fully. My guess in that situation is Bound knew that players were pushing over from A, and just by deduction said, I hope B is safe, but ends up just kind of delivering the ball right over to members of Fnatic. So that to me kind of shows maybe some of the inexperience from Bound. Just, you know, trying to figure out how to better play the objectives. I would say the objective mindset really starts to sink in later in a player's career as far as how to perfectly play that.
Bound can shoot with the best of them, but sometimes his decision-making can come under question. All from that one dribble over towards arcade. We've seen Fnatic rack up 29 points now in total. 2 members go down though.
But also, I'm just taking a look at the board. Look at Bound getting that. Oh my God, that foresight. One, to sprint down and get the slide, just to throw that player off just a minor bit. But one piece of credit I do have to give to Bound is right now he's the one that's putting up all this objective time on the board for FaZe. So even though I might have argued that it's a misstep over in B Street on the B Street with that Oddball, that could have also even been the call out from the players or the coach, or just like we said, the deduction. It also didn't give those members of Fnatic the setup over at PD that we said that is so important. So even though it may have seemed like a missed or messed up rotation, could have actually been a better play in the end.
Just want to say, Dave Walsh is part of the Players Union, so don't be surprised when you hear him blame the coach for a call of a player dribbling the ball over towards arcade. I'm sure he's done that many times in the past, but what we have here is already an 89 points amounted here for FaZe Clan, and Fnatic have a few more mistakes that they can make in round 1.
Yeah, Fnatic, now they actually have a setup over here at Subway. This is going to be Rockets going in the hands of Juziro, so they're going to have to make the most of it, but that's going to be sniped down and bound, clearing out 3 members of Fnatic, and they're rolling with these Rockets. That's going to be all 4 members down. They're going to close this one out. I don't see any way that Fnatic are going to be able to spawn, get kills on these players, and get the ball time stopped. So that's going to be round 1 going in the favor of FaZe.
FaZe take round 1 then. Fnatic look good in patches, but ultimately the experience has gotten the job done there in round 1. Can they bounce back here in round 2 as they do now spawn over towards Tower, the more preferred setup as they get a little bit free of the Bulldog and the likes of the Rockets to get better lines of sight. What can Fnatic do here to bounce back?
We have to see what they can do indeed, but look at the slower start right off the bat. We saw last time how Juziro just got right in the face of these members of FaZe, but right here, Rockets haven't been touched. Nobody's really crossed the halfway point, but Snip3down flies on out, but unable to really connect with that Rocket. So that's going to be a difficult death there, and those Rockets might be cursed. Be careful, Bound. They might not.
Oh!
They're not cursed. They're not cursed. See? Sometimes you can be confused. They might be cursed, but those ones were not, as he got a clear triple kill. So sorry for the false warning there.
Bound with the boombox over his shoulder, and I'll tell you something, playing a beautiful tune to the triple kill for him locked in for FaZe. Fnatic then now find themselves in a familiar position where they have to try and break this setup, and it's all the way back down towards Tram once more.
I like this play from bubu, just laying down a few shots. That's such an uncomfortable position for that player over at those C stairs. They just assume they're going to get hit from rails or someone poking up from C stairs anytime momentarily. But doing a great job with this not perfect or not full setup here from the FaZe side. Still able to scrap up time, lay down shots, and gain those kills.
Bubu Dubu locks in 1. That's 2 dead momentarily then. Envore and Sceptify. And their teammates are going to have to wait for them to spawn back up.
Yeah, the one thing that also I want to highlight that was really brilliant there from the face-up is they realized that they have staggered spawns from both sides. So at their point, they don't need to really push out and get those kills over in the courtyard in front of Subway. Instead, they need to lay down shots and stay alive because players that are spawning from FaZe are going to spawn over at PD or back of A, and they're going to have lines of sight all the way towards C stairs or the front courtyard.
3 go down then. The FaZe setup has now been broken, and a possibility, an opportunity for Fnatic to lock in a setup of their own, but all of a sudden there's a player back commando, and Envore desperately tries to escape.
Similar playbook from before. We saw bubu doing it, staying alive in the back of Subway, and now it's Falcated's turn, staying alive towards that back commando. So much damage being done there. That fully prevented a setup from Fnatic, and now that time has just stopped, and they're in disarray. Right now, Fnatic don't know, do we push towards back of Subway and fully clear this out? Do we try to rotate this ball to a new setup? And there's no time for those questions as players are dropping left and right.
You were saying staying alive, and the whole time I just had the song playing in the back of my head. Staying alive. That's what Fnatic have been doing. Bubu Dubu in particular, a fantastic job for his team. And they're already looking to put some more points on the board as the ball has reset.
And look at this positional advantage here from Snip3down, just fighting there and somehow taken down from SuperCC. So huge angle and fight there, but it just seems like these members here from FaZe are just in slightly superior positions. All these members from Fnatic just scrambling around from ATM. That's bubu picking up a kill on Sceptify. Falcated taking down SuperCC, and that's Bound taking out Juziro. That's 3 members down for Fnatic, and bubu has the ball set up over at Subway. This is looking real bad for Fnatic.
I know exactly what SuperCC's comms were like when as he tried to round that corner towards benches. It was help, 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 they're coming. And indeed they were. There was the pain. Registered straight into pain sound, and Bound cranks the pressure even more as Juziro hits the respawn screen.
And we kept talking about who needs to step it up from these sides. I said Juziro really needs to step it up here for the Fnatic roster, but not quite the case here, at least not in round 2 here on Oddball Streets, as he has just been effectively shut down this entire game and only able to acquire 1 kill.
So good in Aquarius Slayer, but complete contrast in performance and emotions here in round 2 indeed. 1 kill and 9 deaths, and FaZe done a fantastic job at shutting him down, but SuperCC wins that gunfight. Snip3down gets a trade. Falcated picks up 1, and Snip3down locks in 2. Bubu Dubu, last man alive, but milking that ball for all it's worth. Rocket's about to pop.
Rocket's popping up, and bubu just has a sight on him, and I like that. That was such a great play. Also, I really love from Tires where Snip3down did that target switching over towards Arcade, realizing someone's one shot there. Just such a veteran target switch, just realizing, all right, I don't need to fight this full shield person in Tires just yet. Finish off the one shot and then goes for the melee trade and gets both kills.
And just like that, we thought there was a little bit of weakness for FaZe, and then all of a sudden we see them bounce back. It was right back to business as usual.
Yeah, it seems to be whatever I say is the opposite.
Yeah.
It ends up being true. I feel like some of those days when I make predictions or I'm saying something and it's just like, oh, I guess that player who I said was going to dominate did terrible. Or this team that was just going to be clicking, just, you know, never even ran the flag once where I said they always run the flag. So I don't know, just whatever I'm about to say, expect the opposite. Can I say that? And
yeah, I mean, the Dave Walsh curse does seem to be a thing now all of a sudden. Juziro playing really well. He's hot out the blocks. Game 3, we'll keep an eye on him, but all of a sudden he goes 1-9 in round 2 and has a miserable performance. So Dave, maybe you just need to stop talking about players in particular, but at the same time I'm going to say what player needs to bounce back in game 4?
Well, I mean, the one game we did see Fnatic come out ahead. We saw Juziro going with a killing frenzy. And then here in this game number 3, Juziro dropping 10 kills total throughout that. So I feel like, you know, it's tough to like really put it on one player's shoulders, to be honest. Like, it's really tough to always be like, you know, when we talk specifically, I think of like XSET, people are always like, oh, we need to see Suspector just go off and carry this team. It's never really like that. And I think, obviously, with this Fnatic roster, if anything, they really need to be working more together. In some cases, just making sure they have some places to go, because it just looked like they were so chaotic, running around, kind of doing their own free-for-all, doing their own, like, worrying about their own little lives, like when we saw an Oddball in the front of Subway. You had 2 or 3 members running around near the bench and near the ATM. It's like, you don't need that many players down there. That's a later position. Yes, somebody can and should be down there, but when you have half your team or more down there, you're gonna eventually get collapsed on. And so I would love to see Fnatic actually just start to get a couple superior positions, and at least hold those, because they have no trouble having players fly around and run around and, you know, scamper around like you said. It seems to be right now that they don't have the firepower from above to help. So here on something like Recharge, I'd love to see someone anchoring a bit more towards glass or towards the catwalk near A, or even over in control, just in one of those upper positions that they can lay down shots across the map to support these players that are running down low.
I think I know what was going on with Fnatic and over towards those benches. Right, the only thing that makes sense to me is all 3 of them were trying to sit on the bench and wait for the bus to game 4. Now, Strongholds Recharge is our game 4. Fnatic have only won a Slayer so far, unable to get the job done on the objective. Do we expect to see a similar tale, do you think?
This one is tough to say.
He's going to say it's tough. Look, he did it.
It is tough because, I mean, you've just seen like this light switch flip on and off for these teams for how well they're playing.
Yeah.
Like game 1, or at least the start of game 1, FaZe playing phenomenally. Game number 2, Fnatic just going off. Game number 3, Fnatic completely shut down. And so, I mean, if I'm going with light switch theory, we're back to Fnatic.
We're back to Fnatic on. Yeah, that's the only way that makes sense. It's the only thing that I could think of that's going to make this game. And listen, we already spoke about how Fnatic love a game 5. It makes sense to me, and I'm here for it.
So yeah, we're gonna have to see here, but like I said, the real key I'm gonna be focusing here, at least at the very beginning, is are these members of Fnatic just all kind of like dropping low and doing their own thing, or do they have at least a couple connecting pieces across the map, like a player over towards top control or top glass, or somebody that can just at least give some guidance and help?
Can Fnatic get back on the same page? FaZe Clan on series and match point here. Juziro with some beautiful shots down onto Snip3down. He would have enjoyed that, and the reward is a camouflage.
That is huge, and that's going to be actually bubu getting the... Oh, yeah, sorry. Bubu screen went up there for a second. I did see it killed Snip3down, but yeah, we do have Juziro with camo, and I like this spot out, but there's a second player right around the corner, so not as much damage as you hope or expect with that camo. But in the meantime, you do have 3 members of FaZe down. You have 2 strongholds in the hands of Fnatic, so they're looking strong. 2
could very quickly turn to 3 if they can contest this C. Sceptify, shock rifle shot towards top pipes, and he wants this fight, fancies a bit of the beef, and gets Falcated out of the game for now, and a headshot to the back of the skull of bubu dubu as he tries to get away.
And look at that, holding those upper positions, you know, that's always a staple of any setup within Halo, and I felt like it's been missing during that last game for Fnatic. You know, part of that's due to them having to charge across the map to try to have an effect and try to stop the oddball, Other part just seems to be some disarray in knowing where people are going. Looks like Falcated pushing on over towards Mangler, getting one kill, picking up that second on Envore, and this could be FaZe's key to breaking out of this dual setup.
FaZe not trying to just break out, trying to kick down the door of this setup. They get A and B and register their first point of the game. Some semblance of control then, but can they keep a hold of it here? As Snip3down gets into a 1v1, gets his kill, but ultimately gets traded out.
Yeah, 1-for-1 that situation, and I don't disagree with the challenge. I mean, clearly it worked as Snip3down got that pick, but did not expect that second player to be rolling around that corner there in the long haul. Throughout this time, though, FaZe racking up a few points on the board. We're going to see how this camo comes into effect. It looks like SuperCC gets it uncontested, which is quite odd. There was quite a few members of FaZe alive, but SuperCC also just spotted out anyways by bubu.
Dubu with those camo eyes squinting, making sure you can spot him out on the C stairs. Great job by them. It looked as though they got a free camouflage, but FaZe Clan went, oh yeah, there's a camouflage around here somewhere. Let's deal with that. A and B in their control, and they've clawed themselves right back into things here with a 19-point game.
Yeah, what seemed like a free escape with that camo is there's really not that many routes. Many times you're going to see that camo grabbed, and all right, do they jump up the box towards bottom control? Do they jump up the box towards bottom turbine, or do they take the stairs? And it's, you know, they may have checked out both those options through a couple grenades, or just even just spotted one of those angles. You don't even need to have to watch every single one of them. You can watch one or two, and if you spot the camo player there, you got the fight you're looking for.
And a triple cap could very well be in control now for Fnatic once more as they crank the pressure onto FaZe Clan.
Look at this charge. It is a wild amount of pressure there, Shurzy, because in many cases where you get a trip cap, you're generally not pushing all the way towards back whirlpool to fight people over near the sword and near the repulsor. In many cases, you're like holding towards top control, or maybe holding the grenades towards long haul or something like that. You're generally not pushing back there for a couple reasons. One is you're giving them the fight they want. You're giving them this isolated fight where these players who have fewer numbers actually now have a chance. And then two, you don't want to block those spawns over towards back whirl. We're going to have to see how this ends up turning out, but obviously it's already flipped around with two strongholds going in the favor of FaZe, and I believe that's truly to blame for pushing so deep into World.
One mistake can really transfer the control of a game, flip it on its head, and that's what we're seeing here. Falcated with the shock rifle in his hand. Over towards Yellow Pipes, the exits towards Whirlpool to help out his teammate in Snip3down, who desperately tries to get away, bottom elevator, but unfortunately for him, his number is up. Almost gets taken down, does Falcated, gets the job done though, and A should transfer control with no members of Fnatic seemingly in the position to stop it.
Yeah, and that's going to be 3 members of FaZe all here near Turbine and Elevator. So we're going to have to see how they decide to push out from here. And look at this. This entire time you have Falcated just really looking over towards long haul because he realizes that's where his teammates are and helps him become from. He was not focused really over towards Whirl, did not really care about that part of the map because they're all choosing to push out towards just that one side towards long haul.
Bubu dubu. Last man alive momentarily as his teammate Falcated, the latest one to join him. And it could very well be and is another triple cap here for Fnatic. They have FaZe Clan on the ropes.
And they're just looking really strong here in this situation. I mean, despite what I argued earlier as far as pushing so deep into Whirl, they're able to somehow acquire another triple cap, and look at that time just ticking up. They're almost up to a 100-point lead here.
170 to 84 as bubu dubu finally picks up a kill to maybe relieve some of that pressure, but A and B now. B getting contested. That's going to be the stage here. What way is it going to shake out as Sceptify picks up 2?
And those are some of the most devastating kills to happen when that very open center stronghold can go one way or another, where it's just you're so close to converting it and a player drops in, pulls off a sick double kill like that, and then resets it, and your team's just deflated after a moment like that.
They went 3 down after that B stronghold, but all of a sudden they managed to pick up A and B anyway. Sceptify successfully playing defense over towards C with his teammates now spawning long haul. It looks as though B might be the port to call with camouflage about to pop up.
Yeah, Camel's popping up. I was going to say Sceptify. I was a little confused as to why he didn't just go grab that sword while he had some time. I was going to, you don't really go out of your way for it as much. Like, you're not going to push all the way from elevator or something like that just to go for sword. But if you're already at the bottom of Whirlpool, might as well take a little hop or skip all the way over and grab that sword, or even just grab one of the plasma grenades if you want to be lazy and do a CE.
Google Maps will actually bring you over towards the sword if you put in a destination as well, so it can't be that long to get there. But Snip3down trying to help claw his team right back into things, and despite the control that Fnatic have had at times, the amount of times they've had a triple cap, FaZe hang on in there.
Yeah, they're not too far behind, you know, just a 50-point game right here. FaZe are in control. We are looking at slays. Fnatic are outslaying, but not by much. We are actually looking at it as a, what, a one, like, actually, FaZe are getting outslayed by about 4 kills at the moment, with all 4 members going down.
Fresh 4 dead. And this will see control flip once more to the orange half. What can they do, though? With FaZe spawning up over towards top elevator. Juziro recognizes that, relays the information and backs down, recognizes he's gonna live to fight another day, and that player in pipes is gonna be not long for this world as Bound gets eliminated.
And look at that, just realizing, all right, this player's not gonna take the long route. People are watching all those Shyway videos and where you can do those jumps, and so just catches them jumping on over towards that C plat, and those kills are so devastating, like the similar to like a back smack or just a grenade one-shot. Like Snip3down did not get any damage on that player because he got caught off guard there from that sniper headshot.
Fnatic need just 15 points to push this to a game 5. Make it 10. As FaZe Clan desperately have to try and step into a hill. But SuperCC with shots into the back. A and C now in control of FaZe Clan. SuperCC in B gets eliminated by Falcated.
Actually eliminated, but here are some crucial kills, especially near elevator and isolated spot. Looks like Bound's gonna get the kill, going to get the camo. This is gonna be FaZe's opportunity to get some sort of setup and come back. In fact, they're gonna try to push for this trip cap. And I like this too from Bound, going to help secure B. But then secondly, not gonna push over towards Long Haul or Whirlpool and block those spawns. So you can expect these members of Fnatic to be spawned over on that half map. It looks like bubu is setting up for that flank for when players are spawned over here in Whirlpool, but somehow sniffed out. There goes bubu down. We now have a slight advantage here for Fnatic. We're gonna have to see if they can push it.
They only need 2 more points, and they do close out the game. Fnatic pushes to a game 5.
I didn't even see when they capped that second stronghold. I was in a position saying, all right, yeah, they're gonna grab C, but somehow they pushed on over and got, I believe it's B as well.
Yeah, so what?
In that exchange. So I don't know how you go from having a full separate control or grabbing B just prior to that with Bound and camo to having it flip that fast. I would love to see what happened with the spawns there, because I did not really see all these members of Fnatic over in towards Whirl or Long Haul like I expected.
They had A and C control, and you called it out perfectly that they pushed for B. They went for that triple cap, but they had all the ingredients they needed to pick it up. Camouflage in the hand as well, but they lost both those players. Although capping it, the risk wasn't worth the reward in the end because they ended up losing the game. They had control back over with those 2 deaths, and all of a sudden, it's a Fnatic win.
Yep. Numbers game is always the most important. Doesn't matter if you have all 3 strongholds for a short period of time or whatever. Yep. If you give up those kills, those players on Fnatic or FaZe are going to know how to take advantage of it.
We will take a look at the stats too, and try and dissect, try and make sense of it in the end. But Fnatic, what a performance from them. They bounce back and they take their first objective game of the series. And now we're going to a game 5 where typically, traditionally, FaZe have lost the last 2 game 5s they've gone to in tournament play.
That's not a good spot to be for FaZe as you're going to this game 5. Juziro obviously also went off last time they went through a Slayer here. However, we also have another piece of evidence for the light switch theory. So game number 5 could be going right back towards FaZe with the small sample size we got going on here. So light switch theory says FaZe, history says Fnatic.
Slayer on Streets is going to be our game 5, but let's have a little look at them. What player was the most impressive? Sceptify, picking up 4,300 damage. Dubu on the other side of things, doing what he could to drag his team forward, but ultimately, those triple caps, they hurt in the end.
Yeah, those triple caps can be the death of you, especially if you're not finding fast ways to break them out. And I was also even surprised from those times, like we said, Fnatic, I would even argue, got over-aggressive when they had some of their trip caps.
Confirmation then of the series layout. Game 1, Bazaar CTF 2-1. Aquarius Slayer 50-41 to Fnatic. And then we see FaZe retake the lead 2-0. Streets Oddball and Strongholds Recharge, like we just seen, went all the way. but Fnatic get the job done, 250 to 178, and that now sets us up beautifully for Slayer on Streets. And like we said, the light switch theory could come to effect here, but last time we played the Slayer, Fnatic took over.
And last time we played Streets, we saw FaZe took over, but ultimately, this is going to be what team is clutch, what team is here to play here for game number 5. This can't be understated how important this pool play match is. I would argue that this one is going to decide who's top 2 in pool and who's not.
Well, we've already seen Fnatic lose to Optic Gaming, but they're on paper supposedly, you know, beneficiaries because one of the Mexican teams couldn't make it here, so they've gotten here not on merit almost. It snuck in. They've been a bit, I want to say, you know,
a little bit fortunate, a bit lucky to get right into pools versus having to go through open bracket. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
And now they find themselves in a situation where they could be top 2 in the groups if they can just win this Slayer against FaZe.
Yeah, I really think they are primed for this. I mean, I don't doubt all these strong teams coming out of open bracket that one of them could make some waves, but ultimately that's tough to crack into the top 2 in those pools, and this is Fnatic's best chance right here. Going into game number 5, we're kicking off Juziro. Last time we got this Bulldog and he ran up C stairs. Is he going to be as aggressive this time? The answer is no.
Picks up that Bulldog then. These kills are going to be so important early doors to see what way it's going to go. Bubu Dubu hits the respawn screen, but 2 go down here for Fnatic and a 1-kill advantage for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, lightning strikes twice here for FaZe on Streets, starting over at Subway as they're able to win the fights over at B again. And they're able to even push all the way towards PD and Sceptify. Isolated alone towards back A. Falcated gonna win that fight and gonna get that kill.
Bound with the boombox over his shoulder, picks up 1. Backs up into his corner over towards Tires, waiting to see another player step out of line. Will pop that player down to no shields, and with the help of Snip3down, they will eliminate him. It's 6 kills to 4 here. And no doubt, triple kill for Snip3down as he looks to take control of this series and put this Fnatic team in the dirt.
Snip3down is just crushing it off the start here of Street Slayer, but still only a 2-kill game. There's so much left to be played, and it's going to be who's making the mistakes right now. And look at that, 3 kills on the kill feed in favor of FaZe, 0 in favor of Fnatic, and they're still in the hunt. I like this position from bubu. Bubu trying to get this height advantage, and look at this disruption coming in behind these members of Fnatic.
A 6-kill game then. Now all of a sudden FaZe, they're a little bit irritated that they've got themselves in this situation. They want to get the job done here, clear this riffraff and push on in the pools. But Fnatic really trying to make a tough task of it. 15 kills to 7 though. Fnatic take a huge early lead.
That is so massive, and we do have rockets coming up in 10 seconds. If Fnatic want to have a better shot of coming back in this game, they're going to need to grab that weapon. There's 2 kills from SuperCC coming out. That should be enough of an advantage for Fnatic to get another kill or so and grab that weapon. Isn't going to work out, though, because bubu and Snip3down answer with a couple kills of their own. Rockets, I believe, are in the hands of Falcated. He's jumped up towards Tires and staying alive.
Falcated then in Tires, down to no shields. Playing a little bit more patient as he waits for the recharge. That sound cue comes through for him. Rocket fired over towards top C, but it's not going to be enough as he's shut down by SuperCC.
And just panic across the map. They're in such an odd position right now. You have these members of FaZe in the center of the map, and you have these members of Fnatic over at Subway and at PD, but looks like FaZe able to clear out both sides somehow. Whether that's an overextension from Fnatic or whether FaZe wisely picked off one side at a time, I do not know from this single perspective.
It's been carnage, it's been chaos, but FaZe Clan have managed to make sense of it here. 25 kills to 15, the lead now grows even further. The distance between these two, now 11.
And look at this, still on the hunt. I like this spot, so smart. Just by deduction, you have all these members of FaZe just sniffing out all these angles, realizing that they have all this resource on the map. That means there's going to be so many members of Fnatic over at PD and on A side of the map. They have the information. Are they going to be in the right positions and execute?
Fnatic trying to hunt in the pack, 3 members over towards tower. Falcated picks up 1. That player was down to no shields. You can see the rotation coming through back tower as they try and isolate Falcated, but he's popped up at a moment's notice. Envore caught unawares. Generator player is going to get eliminated too with the help of Snip3down as Falcated locks in 2.
And they're in a spot right now where FaZe are comfortable to trade if they get the option. They will happily do a 2-shot melee trade and go kill for kill because they realize as this gets closer to that 40 kill mark, these members from Fnatic, they're comfortable and fast, but they cannot consistently execute on getting kills, staying alive, and avoiding those close range fights.
FaZe happy to win this game, ugly if needs be. Rockets down, SuperCC trying to get his hands on them, ultimately has to back down. Juziro does pick up Falcated in the feed. Envore, back tram, is gonna pick up one. Is he? Yes, finally after making a meal of it, he does lock it in, but getting zip-zapped around, but cannot evade the attentions. 34-23.
And look at this prime position you have from bubu, just looking all over towards Streets. And it looks like this entire time, these members of Fnatic are kind of hiding, being, just corralled into these small areas, whereas members of FaZe, they're sniffing out the sides. They're checking out B, saying, all right, do you see anyone? No, we know B's clear. See anyone Cafe? We know that's clear. And they're able by deduction to find out where the entire FaZe roster, the entire Fnatic roster is hiding at.
Almost smoking them out of holes at times to make them easier kills, like lambs to the slaughter. Fish in the barrel, we can use all of the analogies we need, but FaZe right now looking to cut down this Fnatic roster. They're angry that they're in a game 5 to begin with.
And this is also a huge confidence boost for FaZe if they're able to close this one out. As you said before, historically they've been struggling a couple game 5s. If you look back to Anaheim, where they played 2 strong teams in the forms of Sentinel and in United and lost both those game 5s. So right here is at least a good taste of redemption and hopefully of more victories to come forward as they go through this HCS Kansas City bracket.
FaZe need 10. Fnatic desperately need to try and close this gap. They need all the help they can get. Rockets, Bulldogs, anything they can get their hands on to cut this deficit. Bubu dubu, he goes down, as does Snip3down.
Look at how much work they had to do to take down Snip3down there from Bulldog/ATM. He just lived for so long. He went from Cafe to ATM to near Rocket side. And those kills should be picked up so much faster if Fnatic are in stronger positions. And look at this. All 3 of these members from FaZe down towards Rockets, somehow able to make it work, get away with these Rockets, securing this kill under the stairs momentarily. Yep, all right, they eventually get it. At least they get the Rockets out of the hands of Fnatic, I guess, if you want to look for some silver lining. But there is a 13-kill lead here for FaZe. No Rockets on the map, no power weapons that Fnatic can use to claw back in this. This one's looking over, Shurzy.
FaZe then, have they managed to cure that Achilles heel that they had in the game 5? Only requiring 3 more kills. Make it 1 as Bound and Snip3down put 2 members of Fnatic in the dirt. And that's it with Envore, the final member to hit the nail in the grave. 3-2 the series score. Fnatic unfortunately didn't have enough. FaZe get the job done.
Not much you can do when the light switch theory is proven.
Right? This is what we're saying.
It's just proven right there. Just back and forth series though that entire time. FaZe going up 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and closing out with that 3-2 victory. A much needed victory.
Yes.
FaZe does not want to start off in the elimination bracket when it comes to Saturday and Sunday.
And a dominating performance as well in game 5. We expected that to be a lot closer, especially with those game 5 nerves we spoke on, but they iced up when they needed to.
Yep. And now, Fnatic, they've put themselves in, a pretty impossible scenario.
Yeah.
Like they have to hope for some ridiculous situation where somehow, maybe FaZe loses 1 or 2 more matches, which just doesn't really seem possible here.
Confirmation then of the series layout. What a series we had, folks. Bazaar CTF 2-1 to FaZe. It goes back, the pendulum swung the other way, 50-41 Slayer Aquarius. Oddball Streets went back the other way, the light switch theory. Streets 2-0, 250-178 Strongholds Recharge to push us to that game 5, but a dominating performance on Streets Slayer. FaZe close it out.
Yeah, dominating. Both Streets matches were dominating, I would argue. They looked just so much more on the same page,